Guys, so I wanted to jump on tonight and tell you a little bit about what's going on, and this is going to be a different vlog because normally you guys see the kids and whatnot, but today is a different day. Let me see if that helps. There you go. Today the kids got called out for a snow day, which meant that I had a babysitter. So I called my doctor. I was supposed to go in tomorrow, but I would have had to take DJ to the gynecologist with me. So I called the gynecologist. I said, hey, I have a babysitter today. Is there any way you can get me in? And of course, he's like, sure, because half his clients canceled anyway. It was really slick on the roads, like really slick. And driving to Idaho Falls from Blackfoot, there was a good 30 miles where it was just ice. So, that having been said, I have a truck driver for a husband, so I drove in. And he taught me, he's taught me how to drive on ice, and I know how to handle things, and I have a Suburban with four-wheel drive and studded tires, so I knew I was safe to go. And I didn't have to take the baby out in the cold, and there's some appointments you don't want to take your baby son to. No baby boy should have to go in to the gynecologist with mommy, because that's weird. But guess what, guys? I won! Now you're saying, what did you win? So you guys know I have endometriosis. And my journey with endometriosis is coming to an end. February 14th, kind of ironic because that's it's a holiday all about love, and well, most people will be having intimacy that night. I won't be. I will be sitting in the hospital because I have decided to go ahead and have a hysterectomy. My gynecologist and I discussed it. He's been my gynecologist for about 4 years because he was my gynecologist through my pregnancy with DJ. He has all of my medical history, and so he knew when I walked in today and I said, let's have the talk, what we were in for. He knew that it was time for that talk, that special little, in case you don't know, endometriosis is painful for most people. And while it has had moments of being painful, and if you're wondering why it's so quiet, just so you know, all the kids are asleep. DC came home from work sick, so it's the perfect time for me to just talk. Anyways, for most people, endometriosis is extremely painful. And, I have pain, but I wouldn't say that it's extreme. I'm very blessed in that way. I started my cycle when I was 13. Unlike most people who start their cycle, there was no pink. There was no little light spotting, nothing like that. It was, it's on, and that's it. And it was very, just full throttle. And I had it at 13. I didn't have one until I was 16. And at 16, I was laying on the bathroom floor for several days in the bathtub. And at that point in my life, my mother was not allowing me to speak to my dad's side of the family, which is actually where it comes from, is my dad's side of the family. So I really had no idea what was happening to me. And my mother, being my mother, never took me to the gynecologist. She never said, you know what, this isn't normal. Let's go to the doctor. My mom never said that. She was just like, oh, you'll get over it. You'll be fine. When I was 18 and I lived with my aunt, she was having a lot of the same symptoms. And I asked her, what's going on? What is this? And at that time, she was pursuing a hysterectomy herself. So she ended up having hysterectomy while I was living with her, and I learned a lot about what was going on with my own body. And that's when I finally went to a gynecologist for the first time. I was 18 years old, and he told me, you have endometriosis. So they did do a laparoscopy at that time, and you're talking 25 years ago. So see, I'm going to be 43. Yeah, 25 years ago. So, being 18 and hearing that, I was devastated. But that was not my journey that I was on. I mean, I was on that journey, but that wasn't what God had in store for my life. I dealt with the pain. I had to, they put you on birth control. It didn't work for me. I had weird symptoms, like I would milk, like literally my chest would swell and I would have milk and I would leak. I had never had a baby. Why? I don't know. So I had a miscarriage at 18. I did that alone. I went through that experience alone. For more reasons than one. I don't really want to get into it. It was very personal. And then I met my husband. We got married, and life was pretty good. We adopted twice, and then one Christmas I had started a cycle, and in the middle of January, it still hadn't stopped. So you're talking 8-9 weeks. When we first got married, I bled for 2 years straight, every single day for 2 years. And understand, again, I tell you that there's not a lot of pain for me. Now, I hear for a lot of women and a lot of women on YouTube that talk about their situation, and there was a lot of pain. I'm a redhead, and I'm fairly tolerant. I mean, I've broken this thumb. I have broken my fingers. I've broken my toes. When I broke this arm, I literally shattered the whole thing. I wasn't in any pain. I spent 2 years in a wheelchair and had to learn to walk again. And I can tell you that there just wasn't that much pain for me. I tolerate pain really high. I don't like being sick, but I tolerate pain really high. And most of my pain is from babies. Anyways, so I didn't have the pain, but I did have all of these symptoms. I bled for 2 years. The doctor told me, let's do a laparoscopy. He went in, he burned my ovaries, he cleaned everything out, he did a hybrid tubalization, and I got pregnant with Shauna. And her pregnancy was extremely rough. I had huge fibroids. There was one sitting directly behind her that was as big as she was, and then there was one off to the side, and nobody had told me that this was a possibility, and I shed her. Oh, I shed this fibroid, and I thought I had miscarried her. And that was a very emotional night because the doctor's like, don't bother coming in till tomorrow. And I went in the next day, and he's like, the baby's fine. You shed a fibroid. Didn't tell me what that was. Told me there was another one sitting behind her that I could possibly lose that one too during the pregnancy, not to freak, just to come in, and they'll do another ultrasound. But, I was on bed rest with her for most of the pregnancy. I bled off and on throughout my pregnancy with her. And then I had her. Great. Life was fine. I went 5 years bleeding, trying different hormone things that they've done to me to get me to be fine. It wasn't fine. I will go a year, 2 years without bleeding, then I'll bleed for a year, 2 years. If I do bleed, I bleed through, a 10-hour pad in approximately an hour. So yeah, it's definitely, I have endometriosis. Like, I've got the scarring, I've got the proof, I've got videos of them taking it out. There's only 2 cures for endometriosis, the first being pregnancy, but that it's not a cure. I want to make that really, really clear. It is not a cure. I've had 3 pregnancies, 3 viable pregnancies, Shauna, the twins, and DJ, and I am not cured of my endometriosis. That having been said, the second one is hysterectomy. And I've really debated on this because I hear both sides of it. My family, my grandmother on my father's side, my 2 aunts, my dad's biological sisters, they have all had a hysterectomy, and they say it's the best thing in the world. They all had endometriosis, and they've all had, the same battle that I have, only they had pain. They were in severe pain. Now, granted, they're not redheads, and I'm not saying that redheads are stronger. Please don't think that. It's just we have a different level of pain than some. So we take it differently. Now, see, I don't like needles at all. Don't poke me, because I have veins that move, and you will most likely blow my vein if you're not listening to me. And I hate needles, so I don't handle them well. I don't really. And I don't handle seeing my kids in pain. The emotional pain is harder for me. And as you can see today, I had needles, but the nurse was amazing. She didn't hurt me, which I'm so grateful for. Anyways, so the doctor and I discussed it, and we've decided that today is the beginning of the last of my battles with endometriosis. I am going to win. I am getting a hysterectomy on Valentine's Day. Sorry, DC, no muffins that night. But it is good. I am happy, and I would like to document this and put this up for everybody. This is going to be my journey with endometriosis. I was saying, I've had the first pregnancy. I had the second pregnancy with the twins. And of course, I did lose fibroids during that pregnancy. And oh my stars, you want to talk about blood. I won't, because it's very, very gory. Like, it's more gory than a gory horror flick. Like, I was terrified. I lost them like several times during the pregnancy because it was just blood. It was bad. And with DJ, it was just fairly normal, I think, pregnancy. I lost a fibroid, but because I had already been through his twice, I knew. And so it just was kind of like a nice, normal pregnancy. Since then, since DJ was born, I was bleeding. I started bleeding the day he was born, of course. It's normal. And then I bled for like a year and a half straight after him. And I went to a doctor, and I went to a different doctor because I had moved to Blackfoot. I thought I should see a doctor here. Don't switch your doctors. If you got a good one, just keep him. Drive the 30, 40, 50 miles to go see him, because if you've got a good one who's listening and who understands you, that's the best way to do it. So she was not good. She said, let's do a cryoablation. She put an IUD in and then refused to take it out when I told her that I was allergic and that I was having very difficult complications and that it was burning, to the point where I made DC take it out. So, I went back to my old doctor today. Doctor, I won't tell you his name, but I went back to him today, and he's like, oh, you know what? You're right. Let's just do this. You're 40 years old, and you've got 6 kids, and I know you're not going to have any more kids because he tied my tubes when I had baby. And, so he knew, and he just said, let's do this. Let's do your hysterectomy. I think it's the best thing. You've got a huge family history of endometriosis. And then my grandfather on my mother's side just had breast cancer removal. So it's kind of like, yeah, we can do it. Let's do it. So I feel like I'm one. I feel like a winner. In a month from now, I am going to defeat endometriosis, and I am so happy. I won. I have 6 kids, and I'm healthy, and I'm happy, and endometriosis will not take my life. It will not hold me back anymore. I'm not going to be afraid to go somewhere, because if I start my cycle, I'm going to be like running because I don't have anything to protect me, or, I don't have to carry pads in my car everywhere I go, because it could just, and there you go. You will not win endometriosis. I did, ha ha ha. You're out of here. So, yes, I want to say the endometriosis success story, me and my beautiful children and my husband. So I will keep you updated. We will talk about it more as we get closer, because today I'm feeling like a winner, but you know what? I've got a month. I'm going to try to lose a few more pounds before the surgery, just to make it easier on the doctor and on my own recovery. And he didn't tell me anything, so I need to figure out what I can do to prepare for my surgery. If you have any ideas, or if you've been through it and you say, do this, this, and this, and you'll recover well, fast, heal quicker, whatever. I mean, I've had C-sections and been up within 3 hours, like walking the halls with the baby. So I'm pretty tough. I'm strong. And I've had a lot of people tell me having a hysterectomy is dumb. You should just, you're 42 years old. God only got 7 years, 8 years before you have menopause. But I don't have to live like this if I don't want to. So, okay. There's my success story. Hey, like and subscribe, and then you can see our family vlogs. For those of you who don't do our family vlogs, make comments. Tell me what you think. I'm not afraid. I've already made up my mind, so I know that this is what I'm doing. And, like I said, I feel like a success story. Me. Because I beat endometriosis. It didn't take me down. I'm taking it down. You're in my house now. Yeah. Anyways, hit the like and subscribe, and we'll get back to you again. Bye, guys.